friends, and welcome back to Stronger Every Day. My name is Chrissy. Today we're going to talk a little bit about depression. As I've told for over a year and almost a year and a half now, that's what I struggle with. I have struggled with major depression disorder and anxiety. I've mentioned that over the past, I guess since around December, January-ish, I've felt that that's lifted. Do I still have moments? Yes. Do I still take medication? Yes. I have cut back on the medicine, but we'll see. Maybe one day I'll come off that, maybe one day I won't. But I wanted to talk about depression and what that has meant for me, what that means for others, and kind of maybe it'll help you have an understanding of it if you've never experienced it, or if you're experiencing it now and you feel like nobody gets it, or you're alone, which is the number one lie of the devil. You're alone, nobody understands it, something's wrong with you, something's weird about you, everyone else is fine, and that's absolutely not true. I could probably list, out of 50 people, probably half of those are struggling with some form of mental illness, whether it be bipolar, whether it be PTSD, whether it be schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, depression, anxiety, bulimia, anorexia. All of those things fall into the mental health realm. There's over 200 different illnesses that fall under mental health. What I talk about, because it's what I deal with and have dealt with for 28 plus years, is depression and anxiety. So I think when we're depressed, depression makes it's almost like you're blind to things that are going on around you. You see them, you encounter them, you experience them, and when they're bad, it makes your depression worse. But it makes you focus inward. It makes you focus on you, which, number one, obviously takes the focus off God and puts it on us. And what we're thinking in our mind about ourselves is never good, right? It's the lies of you're worthless, no one loves you, you're a burden, you're taking up precious time, your poor spouse, your poor kids, your poor parents, your poor, having to deal with you. It's the lies and the bull crap of the devil just telling you all this junk. But when you're in that place, when you're in depression, that's the only thing you're withdrawn. So you're withdrawing in, and those thoughts are on repeat. You're stressed, you're tired, you're exhausted. I don't know how many times I've said there has to be something past exhausted, because that's where I'm at, right? And it's not always physical, it's mental. You hear people that have physical demanding jobs, construction workers, people that are on their feet all the time, and they're physically exhausted at the end of the day, versus somebody who's at a computer, like coding or something similar to that, and you're mentally exhausted at the end of the day. That's how depression is. You're both. You're mentally exhausted from fighting off all of the thoughts, all of the urges, all of the things that are going on in your head, just trying to survive. And when it's been 24 hours or 48 hours or a week or however long of fighting that off, you're just mentally drained. You know how, like, when you have a random pain, just something random, maybe it's on your nose or on your cheek or in your mouth or on one of your fingers, and you never realize it's not like a level 10 pain, it's more like a level 1, and it's fine, but after a week it's starting to get to you. It's kind of a very vague reference of very, very, very vague reference of depression. It's that after a while, and then you have the outside things that are getting piled on you, and you get in that pit, you get in that place, and that's where it gets hard to get out of, because you've withdrawn, and the only voices that you're hearing are the crap voices that the devil's putting in your mind. That's why I started this channel, because I have been there for years and years, 27 and a half, of listening and believing those thoughts, that you aren't any good. Chrissy, you're worthless. There's nothing good about you. No one loves you. You make it incredibly hard to be around. You know, Nick would be better off, your dad would be better off, your family would be better off, your workplace would be better off, your kids, our four-legged kids, would be better off if you just weren't here. And that's the PG version of what he has told me over my lifespan. And I don't think you are focusing on yourself because that's all you're hearing, but it's not in a selfish way. It's in a survival way, right? We're trying to survive the next day, the next hour. We're just trying to make it through. And I remember waking up so many times in disappointment that I woke up that day. So many prayers that I prayed, Lord, bring me home. Just bring me home. I'm ready to come home. I can't do this anymore. I can't cope with this anymore. I'm not strong enough. And even periods, I've never blamed God because we live in a broken world, and that is just how it is. We're broken in Genesis. But not understanding of why is he letting me go through this? Why am I still dealing with this after all this time? Why am I not getting the healing that I see others get from it? Or you know, you see people that go through kind of situational depression, and you're happy for them because I don't want any single person to feel what I have felt in my lifetime. Not one person, not somebody that has treated me like dirt. I don't want them to feel what I feel. I don't want others to feel what I feel. That's part of why God put it on my heart to start this channel, because there's a lot of us. It's not 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 or 1,000. It's millions of people that feel like this on a day in, day out basis. And what we get in return is condemnation and judgment from others. There's very few that actually understand and will be open and honest and raw and vulnerable and tell you you're not alone. I go through this as well. And there's even, in the beginning of this, I even had a little bit of shame in telling my story because I had hid it or tried to hide it for so many years so that others did not know that I struggled with this. It was always the fake smile that I'm fine, and on the inside I was dying and struggling just to survive every day. And after a couple months, I was like, I'm not embarrassed anymore. I don't have a problem being open and raw and vulnerable, because when I tell my story, it resonates with somebody. Every video, it resonates with somebody. Or when I'm talking to somebody one-on-one, something in my story resonates. All of our stories aren't the same, but they're similar. You might have struggled with things that I never struggled with. I might have struggled with things that you never struggled with, but the base of things are similar. And I feel like depression isolates us into a point that we don't want to be around anyone because we can't handle any more outside stress. And that is true. That's hard. It's hard just getting up every day and getting dressed and getting to whatever, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or whether it's a stay-at-home dad, whether it's work from home or whether you have a 9-to-5 or whatever kind of job you have, a shift job. And then you have the responsibilities of kids and family and the house and the cars. And, you know, now that we're into the summer or the spring summer, grasses and lawn and all of that, it's just a lot of different things. And I feel like we get these crap thoughts in our mind, and we roll with it. You know, if you wake up and first thing you do is knock your phone off trying to turn the alarm off, or then you get up, stub your toe, automatically your thought is, well, here we go, my whole day's ruined. No, friends, it does not have to be that way. Stop that crap thought right there and say it's gonna be a good day. Does that mean that it is? No, but if you keep going down that rabbit hole of how everything's gonna suck today, it will. It will, all day long. But if you say, no, okay, so I knocked my phone off and stubbed my toe, it's gonna, you know, we're gonna have a better day. It may be, it may not be, but would you not rather think that it's gonna be than go into it knowing it's not? I'm not saying being delusional, but speaking things into how it's gonna be affects your attitude. So when something minor happens, I knew it, here we go again, instead of It is what it is, I'm fine, right? We have to learn to give ourselves grace when we're going through periods or moments or months of depression and anxiety, or whatever that mental illness may look like for you, but also not stay in it. And that's where it gets hard. Once you're in it, that's where it gets hard to come out. I have felt little tinges of that I'll talk about in another video just recently. But what I've realized is I'm giving myself grace to feel what I feel. I'm not gonna push it under the rug and shake it off and get over it. I'm gonna deal with it, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna process what's happening and then go on. Instead of the way that I used to do it, which was shove it under the rug until so many things were shoved under the rug, the only thing you can do is trip and fall, right? And be in that bad place. So I've learned to give myself grace to feel what I'm feeling and process what I'm dealing with, but then get up and move forward. We talked about, I can't remember the verse right off the top of my head, man, I wish I could remember that. It was talking about one of the disciples went through some things and they had fallen, and Jesus said, you know, eat and rest, eat and rest, eat and rest, because you have a journey. So deal with what you're going through, give yourself nourishment, give yourself rest, and deal with what you're going through, but then I've got things for you to do. And that's kind of where I'm taking my inspiration from, of giving myself grace to deal with what I'm dealing with, eat and rest, right? Give our bodies nourishment, not crap food, nourishment. Rest, take a nap, try to get sleep, but then there's more for you to do, right? There's more, I've got a plan for you. But he recognized the need for rest and recoup, and then keep going on the journey I've got you on. I think there's so much good. There's so much good in this world, but all that we see via social media, the news, whatever outlet you use, whatever electronic outlet you have, you see the negative. That's what makes headlines, right? All the bad, all the negative, all the things that are happening. I'm not saying that we turn our eye to that, but look for the good that's going on. You know, I saw a guy the other day that came in limping. I mean, visibly like something was wrong, limping, and a lady came through in a walker, and he got up, limped to the door, and held it open for her. There's good in this world. There's good in this world. We tend not to see that because we see what the media wants us to see, what they want to portray, that, you know, everything's bad, this world's horrible, it's all about war, it's all about shootings, it's all about death, it's all about bombings and mass shootings, and it isn't. That is a part of our world, unfortunately. That is a part of our culture, but it's not all that way. That's one thing I love about living in a smaller town, is that, I don't know, you just seem to see it more. But maybe when I lived in a bigger town, I wasn't looking for it. Maybe I bought into the narrative that it is all bad. But again, giving ourselves grace and others grace, learning to love and be there for each other. I hope maybe that helps you understand a little bit of kind of what it's like for dealing with depression. I've used this analogy over and over again. For me, when I'm in the depths of it, I feel like it started out as a physical fight, right? You're in a fight with someone, and it's one punch. You're going blow for blow, right? You're punching left and right. They're punching left and right. If you've ever been in a physical fight, that's why there's rounds, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting. You need a break in between. But you don't get one with mental illness. You just keep getting punched, and the other opponent is stronger than you, and you keep getting punched. Eventually you get knocked down to the ground, and you're able to keep your head up, but at some point you can't keep your head up anymore, and nobody's throwing in the towel. For me, that is a basic description of depression and anxiety, is that at that point you're in the pit and you're done. You're done when you're there. You're done when you're in the pit. You're either numb or you don't feel anything. And that's a scary, scary place to be. My heart and prayer is that nobody goes to that place. It's a scary, dark, black, there's no light. It's just scary. It's a bad place to be for anyone. And I don't ever want anyone to be there. And I know that me wishing that and praying that isn't necessarily going to change the fact that people are going to go there. But I want you to understand that you're not alone. Many of us have been there multiple times. For me, I will be very bluntly honest, over 100, probably over 200 or 300 or 400 times I've been in that place. Probably more than that. And sometimes it lasts for a day. Sometimes it would last for a week. Sometimes it lasts for months. And I come on here not as an expert. I don't have a degree in psychology or psychology or whatever. I don't have any of those degrees. I have a degree, but not in any of that. I come on here as someone who's dealt with it. I've been through it. And if my experience can help you understand that something about our experiences are similar and there is light at the end of the tunnel, then I've done what God's called me to do. So I hope this video helps. I'm going to end it here, friends. I end every video this way. Sometimes if you just need to hear this, skip to the end. God loves you. I love you. Your family, your friends love you. And we need you here. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.